I think the Essential Mix was a big highlight for us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it was a great opportunity to get 2 hours of free space on Radio 1, which is obviously, well, the best station to be on, I'd say. It was a great opportunity for us to show what we're made of and make 2 hours of soundscape, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it did very well. We're in the shortlist for the best Essential Mix of 2004, which is a real...
Fantastic.
It's fantastic, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
whether we win it or not, it's great to have been listed out of 52 essential mixes. So.
Yeah, when you look at all the other people that are there, it's a real honour to be in that group. So, I mean, if we were to win it, I think that would be the highlight of the year, really.
Fingers crossed.
And we've also did quite well in the DJ Mag poll. We got to 39 in the top 100, which is up quite a lot from where we were last year. And I think that was also quite surprising. We were sort of thinking we might be somewhere around there, but not quite as high as that. So it's been a good year for us. We've had good success on recordings and DJing, and the label's going from strength to strength, and the radio show's getting more and more popular. So it's been a good year.
It's one of those records that grows on people. It's not so instant as maybe Far From In Love was. So, I mean, it was a really good step for us because there's a lot of vocal trance around, and we really wanted to do something different and sort of push the boundaries a bit. And I think we kind of achieved it with that track. So, and the reaction's been great, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, it was great to work with Zoe. I think she's a very special singer, and for me, it's always
very individual, isn't she?
Yeah, she's got a fantastic voice. And a unique way of looking at things, and I think it was really great for me. I got a real tickle out of seeing a whole club full of people all around the world singing along to a song about a girl falls in love with an alien. It's not really the sort of thing you think dance records are made of.
We started, it was kind of as an accident really, we just started doing the Adventjah Beats volume compilation series, if you like, which is basically a roundup of the best tracks of the year on Adventjah Beats. The first one was the best tracks ever on Adventjah Beats up until that time, in our opinion, and what suited the mix. Volume 2 is sort of over the last year, and we've sort of stepped up our release schedule on Adventjah Beats, so there's a lot more to choose from. So yeah, it's got stuff like No One on Earth on it, for example, and we sort of toured around the world to release that as well, and that took us to Sydney at one point. But the Sydney gig was really good because some of the guys, it's a gay club, and some of the guys in there have been like really creative with what they were wearing, and like one guy turned up with Above and Beyond, like No One on Earth, like in fabric paint on his shirt, and it just looked amazing. I've got a picture of it. And yeah, we should get him to do some T-shirt designs for us.
It's always nice
to augment our collection.
Yeah. It's always nice when you go somewhere and people have made their own clothes, because we've recently started doing T-shirts on the website. But up until then, if you wanted an Adventjah Beats T-shirt or an Above and Beyond T-shirt, you had to make it yourself. And like last night in Perth, there were 2 guys in the front row with their own T-shirts, and that just shows, how much dedication they've got to the label. It's very touching.
Crowds are very up for it, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you're probably pretty much in the top 5 of nations to go where trance music and dance music are still really important to young people.
Yeah.
I think we got a little bit jaded in the UK, and there's a few other countries that feel like they're in the same position that we were, which is like, it was bigger before. But when I come to Australia, when you come to an event like this, you really get the impression that this is really exciting for people to come out. And that's obviously really great for us to play at those places. So I think Australia is always going to be high on our list of places that we want to play. I mean, we recently did a gig in Sweden, where in quite a small town.
Oh, that was funny.
And pretty much everybody in the audience knew us because of the radio show. Because
that was the first in a way, wasn't it? They knew us from the radio show because people normally know our records or.
Yeah, and there's not much to do in that town. It was so small.
Great atmosphere.
Really great gig. Yeah. Packed out club. The promoter was really surprised, and we were just asking people, how did you know about us? Because it's not somewhere that we played that much before, and it was all from the radio show, so it's good. We've always been known for kind of top of the night trance, and the first Madonna remix, in some respects, set the stall for that kind of Above and Beyond remix. And I think what we've managed to do this year with the Dido remix, the remix we've just done for Ferry Corsten, and the Silence remix, is actually show that we can do different sounding records and make a reasonably good fist of it. And the Dido one, I think, is probably more on the sort of progressive, maybe Gabriel and Dresden sort of area of music. But I think in a way that it sort of treats the vocal quite respectfully. There's all the entire vocal is in the song. It's a really great song, and it really works in that sort of chunky, slightly progressive way. We've just done a remix for Ferry Corsten, a track called Holding On, and that's much more sort of techie, sort of chunky, darker sounding record. And of course Delirium Silence is straight down the middle, you know.
People in record companies tend to want the last record again.
Yeah.
Or, you know, can you make it like your Madonna mix? But it's not really interesting for us to do that. So when they approach us, we always say, well, you know, we want to do what we want to do with it, because what's the point otherwise? We don't want to make the same record again and again. You know, the fans of the music get bored and we get bored, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we tried to do something a little bit different with the second Madonna remix that we did, but I'm not sure that we really pulled it off. I think we used too much of the vocal in that track, but, you know, at least we tried.
On that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was shite. But, you know, we were trying to do something a little bit different.
Edit that bit
out. No, you can leave that in. Well, I mean, our aliases really are Above and Beyond, which is the name we DJ under, and that's kind of our collective name. Yeah. Ocean Lab is a project with Above and Beyond and a vocalist called Justine Suissa, and we're probably going to do an album in the next couple of years with her. We've just recorded 2 new tracks, which are going to be, one of them is going to be the next single. And then the other thing that we do, and I think we're going to keep it just to these 3 for the future, because we used to have a lot more aliases, just because you can.
Go a bit basically. Out of hand.
Yeah, is Tranquility Bass, which is more sort of club tunes, and the second Tranquility Bass was Surrender, that was out in the summer.
It was great to get Dave Seaman playing that record as well, because he's one of our sort of favourite DJs from years ago, as he did all the Renaissance sort of stuff. And yeah, it was nice to have him playing that, and Pete Tong as well.
And Pete Tong, yeah. So yeah. It's that's quite a nice little sub-project, and we've got a new Tranquility Bass, which is called Getting Away, which is the record we open with tonight, which is just finished in the last couple of weeks. Just finished it.
I've enjoyed different gigs for different reasons. I think you know, sometimes it's great when you go into an empty club and then the club fills up. Like we played in Cyprus, and the club was completely empty when we started, and we were a bit worried that no one was going to turn up. And then by like our 3rd or 4th record, the dance floor was completely full, and everyone had their hands in the air, and it was just that was a really good feeling, because you know, warm-up DJs, they get a great feeling because they fill up a dance floor, whereas we tend to come on at the top of the night and the dance floor's already full. So it's quite a different experience for us to experience that. So
I think every gig you do is so different, you know, the club and everything that surrounds the gig, you know, like, you know, the TV interview in the castle room and all this sort of stuff, it all kind of permeates into your memory of the gig, and I think they're also different. You can't really have, you know, a best gig, because it's like chalk and cheese, you know. Playing the you know, at Kral Castle here, outdoors with the stars in the sky, you know, in the warm, compared to playing, you know, Gatecrasher in Moscow with 10,000 people in a big sweaty room. They're just so different things, you can't really.
And it's not necessarily down to the number of people that are there as well. So sometimes it's really great to play in a small club. Yeah. And you know, you've got a really packed kind of vibe and everyone's up for it. It's nice.